Hello everyone, welcome back. So in the last class, we were discussing about Australopithecus. What actually the Australopithecus is, and we discussed about the discovery of Australopithecus, followed by its distribution and few general characteristics. So in that, right, we were discussing about the cephalic features of Australopithecus. By cephalic, I told you we refer to the head region. Or head region. In that, right, we discussed a few anatomical things. I hope you will be in a position to recollect what do you mean by a cranium and the different regions of cranium like frontal, parietal, occipital, temporal. Actually, this is one technique in teaching actually. There are few complex things which I'll be speaking again and again, so that these words will stick into your head. Got it? So cephalic region, we discussed about cranium, and I told you the cranial capacity of Australopithecus is roughly between 400 to 530 cc cubic centimeters. Okay, cubic centimeters. Then the different regions in our cranium: frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. Okay. Then we had a discussion about sagittal crust, supraorbital ridges, prognathism, etc. So now let us continue our discussion. There are few more things to discuss about in this cephalic region. That will be followed by the dentition, teeth. How the teeth are arranged in the lower jaw. Is there any evolutionary importance in that? After finishing that, we shall discuss the post-cephalic or the post-cranial features, everything below the head. And in that, we will discuss in length about the Australopithecus locomotion. What is this jog trot like locomotion? And then the last chapter in this, that is the phylogenetic position of Australopithecus. The phylogenetic position of Australopithecus. So now let us continue our discussion. Now let us start our discussion from one important cephalic feature, that is foramen magnum. There is one box just below that. You just write in that. See, if you say foramen, in anatomy, foramen refers to a opening in a bone. For example, in our lower jaw, there is one opening here, and one opening here. We call that as mental foramen. So that is a opening through which nerves and blood vessels passes through from this side of the jaw to that side of the jaw. Okay. See, foramen refers to a opening in a bone. Foramen magnum, again that is a opening in our bone, opening in our skull. This opening is found there in the back side of the skull. And it is through this opening our brain continues as a spinal cord. Okay. So this is called as a foramen magnum. I'll show you one picture about this foramen magnum. So this is a skull in which the lower jaw is technically called as, yes, mandible. Lower jaw means mandible. Okay. So the mandible has been detached from this. It is without mandible. So mandible will be somewhere here. This opening, right? This is the opening through which brain continues as spinal cord. Okay. This is called as foramen magnum, and there is a too much of evolutionary significance behind the position of foramen magnum. When our animals had quadrupedal locomotion, I'll show one picture, see if you can understand. The picture is not so clear, but just I will explain you. See here, this one, right? Yeah. This one. This is having a quadrupedal locomotion. Quadrupedal, that means using all the four limbs for locomotion. Our dog is quadrupedal, donkey is quadrupedal, buffalo, cow, all these are quadrupedal, using all the four limbs for locomotion. Even our human ancestors, right? Even they were quadrupedal. Some 5-6 million years ago, the apes from or the hominids from whom we have descended, right? Even they were quadrupedal. Even they were jumping from branches to branches. That's why among us, right, among few, will still show those characters of living in tree and jumping between branches. Okay, see here, quadrupedal. And to position the, be it quadrupedal or be it bipedal, eyes should always point forwards. So see here how the foramen magnum is attached here. Foramen magnum is more posterior for them. But after getting erect posture in the process, right, if still our vertebral, still if our foramen magnum remains here, our vertebral column, right, if it is straight, then now we'll be facing the eyes, right? So in the course of evolution, what happened, from quadrupedal, when we got bipedal locomotion, it happened over a period of few million years. It took 40, 50, 60 lakh years for us to get this bipedal locomotion. And in this process, right, slowly this foramen magnum descended, and it came down. If this picture is not clear, I will draw one more and I will show things clearly. See here. When now we had quadrupedal locomotion. Foramen magnum used to be more posterior. That opening used to be somewhere here. And vertebral column used to have only one single arch. On the other hand, after getting bipedal locomotion, if the foramen magnum continues to remain here, head will be facing the sky. So in the process of evolution, this foramen magnum slowly descended, and it came almost here. It descended and it is almost here. And this is not the opening through which the food which we eat and the air which we inhale passes through. Okay. So here in this lower jaw, there is a opening here. You can see, you can feel here, there will be no bone here in this region. It is through this opening, right? The food which we eat and the air which we inhale goes inside. Okay, so foramen magnum is separately here and we cannot touch and feel this. It is deep inside here. You can do not try to locate that because you may damage the muscles here and that will create some serious injuries. You do not try to locate where the foramen. We cannot locate that. Okay, fine. So guys, are you okay with the term foramen magnum? Good. Then there is a next one important thing which I didn't mention there in your notes, but you can make a note about it because it is bit important. It is mastoid process. Before that, I forgot to tell you, for Australopithecus, right, just like human beings, the the foramen magnum was more centrally placed. It was not posterior, it was more centrally placed like the one in human beings. That is one very good evidence to show that Australopithecus had a bipedal locomotion. Mastoid process. Process, if you say in anatomy, process, it is not a chemical reaction. Process means this is something which is protruding from a larger mass. It may be a bone or it may be a muscle. From a large mass, if something is protruding like this we call it as a process. You can take down the definition for process. Process, right, this refers to that part of the bone or a tissue. It may be a muscle, etc., which protrudes or projects from a large mass. This we call it as a process. This is a definition for process. Okay, so please take it down. This is a part of the bone or tissue which protrudes from which projects from a larger mass. So mastoid process. You take down the diagram for mastoid process, then I will show you where it is exactly. This triangle shaped projection, right? This is mastoid process. Mastoid region, right? That is a region in the temporal bone. This is a temporal region, right? This is a part. So this mastoid process, right? You can feel it here. Just behind the ears, right? It will be. If you touch, right, you can feel one triangle shaped bone here. This is something, a very important development in the process of evolution. Earlier, this mastoid process was not very prominent among the primitive ape. This mastoid process, right, it provides attachment area for a number of muscles in the neck region. You take down. So, mastoid process, you can write it down. Mastoid process refers to a triangle shaped projection in the mastoid region. In the mastoid region. This provides attachment areas for the muscles in the neck region. This is also an development because of erect posture. Now, the head is going to be positioned altogether in a different angle, and neck need to be strengthened to position and balance the head. So, a number of muscles developed in this neck region, and the mastoid process also developed, which provided attachment area to these muscles. Okay. So I will show you. Did you take down this thing? This provides attachment areas for the muscles in the neck region. Can you see this? This is the mastoid process. This is the mastoid process. This is the temporal bone. This one is a temporal bone, and this is the mastoid region of the temporal bone. I'll write it down here. See. This is the mastoid process. This larger thing, right? This is the temporal bone, and this region, right, is the mastoid region. Now I will show you the muscles which are attached here. Can you see these? This huge muscle in the neck, right, is attached to this mastoid process, and this provides support to the head. Along with this, there is one more muscle which runs through our jaw here. Even that particular muscle, right, straight away gets attached in the tip of the mastoid process. So, got it? So, the mastoid process provides number of attachment areas for the muscles in the neck and in the jaw region. This mastoid process is present in Australopithecus. This is one very important development. Again, this shows that Australopithecus had an erect posture like us. Okay. Then one more thing we need to note down. Okay, leave it. It's not to go the depth though. So now let us focus. This is sufficient about the cephalic features of Australopithecus. Now let us discuss about the teeth and dentition. The dentition, right, it gives some mixed So there is a mix of human-like and ape-like primitive characters. There is a mix of human-like and ape-like primitive characters. The lower jaw, right, mandible, is chinless. That is without a chin. See here, in our lower jaw, there is a very prominent curve here which gives the chin. But for Australopithecus, it used to be like this. So the curve here is missing. So the development of chin, right, actually, for primitive apes, the lower jaw, technically called as mandible, right? Mandible used to be very large and massive. So they can bite and chew. In the course of evolution, the mandible become thinner and thinner. So when it become thin, right, again now, it should not become weak. So the chin developed again as a reinforcement for a thin mandible. But for primitive apes, the chin is absent. This is one primitive feature which is also found in Australopithecus. Correct? Chin is absent. Then the dental arcade. Is parabolic. I told you what is parabola. Parabola is a graph, and when you draw a parabola, this will be in between U-shaped and the V-shaped. Between U-shaped and V-shaped. Human jaw is in the shape of parabola. But for the primitive apes, this dental arcade used to be U-shaped. For Australopithecus also, the dental arcade is parabolic, and that too without a simian shelf. If I tell simian, simian means ape-like. Simian means ape-like. So this is also a very primitive character. Simian means ape-like. Okay. Simian means ape-like. Simian shelf. What do you mean by shelf? If you have shelf in your home, you will keep your books in that. Correct? Similarly, simian shelf means it is a shelf-like bone found in our lower jaw. It is found here in this region. So in this region, right, is largely boneless for us. And here this bone extends down here like a shelf. I'll show you. Try to have a look at this picture. Oh, sorry, it is not that. It's okay, not an issue. See how our lower jaw used to be. Sure. It used to be like a parabola. Here our 1, 2, 3, 4 incisors, canines, premolars and 3 molars will be there. Are you okay with this? So this is parabola shaped. Here in this region, right, for the primitive apes, the bone used to extend like this. This is called as simian shelf. This is called as simian shelf, which is found among most of the primitive apes. But this feature is absent in Australopithecus, and the dental arcade is parabola shaped. This is a human-like progressive character. It's a human-like character found in the lower jaw of Australopithecus. Similarly, for primitive apes, right, canines are used to be very large. 1, 2, 3, 4 incisors. Followed by that, canines will be bit very large. We call it as tusk-like. Tusk-like canine. Because our primitive apes, right, they had a quadrupedal locomotion. As a result, all their 4 limbs were utilized for walking. In these online classes, right, we are literally losing a lot of fun. Because every time, right, when we discuss this in our offline classes, classroom, somebody will say, sir, see, this guy is having a tusk-like canine. Sir, see here how pointed his canine is. Okay, tusk-like canine. But for Australopithecus, this was not the case. The canines are small and it's only slightly projecting. It is because for the quadrupedal animals, right, when all their 4 limbs were used for locomotion, they used the teeth for hunting, for collection of fruits and tubers. But now for Australopithecus, its hand has become free. It can take a stone, it can make one a sharp object in a bamboo and it can use that for hunting. There is no need to use its mouth for hunting now. As a result, the use for canines also declined and canines become very smaller. Canines are smaller. At the same time, when canines used to be large, they cannot keep the mouth open for a long time, right? They need to close it. So once when they close it, they need to lock the teeth. So there will be some opening here between the canines and the incisors, which we call it as this opening is called as diastema. You can write here in some kind. Diastema refers to the opening or a gap in between teeth. Okay. Here this diastema is meant for locking the large canines. This diastema is absent in Australopithecus. Again, this is a modern and a progressive character. Diastema is absent. I hope is this very boring? Slightly, but one very important thing about this topic is initially it will take some time for you to understand these things. But once when you know what is a diastema, once when you know what is a foramen magnum, this will not vanish from your head easily. So you can remember this and there is no need to make any frequent updates. There are number of discoveries which keep happening about these fossils, but there is no need to update anything. Our examiners, you cannot see, our examiners will not ask anything related to this recent discovery in Australopithecus. Okay. So diastema is also absent here for our Australopithecus. Then there is one important primitive feature which is found in the teeth of Australopithecus. That is cusp. So yes, plural, cusps in the molar. Cusp means on the topmost portion of the teeth. If you keep our finger like this, right, you can feel the bulges. Okay, so on the top of the teeth, it will be like this. The molar, generally we have 5 cusps. Okay. Australopithecus, right, they also have 5 cusps in the teeth, but the arrangement of this cusp, right, reveals a primitive pattern. Okay. A few primitive apes which lived before Australopithecus, some 10 million years ago, 13 million years ago, there is one important genus called as Dryopithecus. This Dryopithecus is a primitive ape, and the very important and prominent characters of the molars of Dryopithecus is Y5 pattern of the cusp. Actually, it looks like an inverted Y actually. So the cusps are arranged like this. It looks like an inverted Y, right? Okay. So this particular feature or the cusp in the molars of Australopithecus is arranged up like this. This Y5 pattern. This Y5 pattern of a cusp is a very primitive character. So this is found among Dryopithecus. Is found among Dryopithecus. Okay. So there is one very primitive character found in the teeth of Australopithecus. Along with this, the jaw and the teeth of Australopithecus, right, was designed to bite and chew. Bite and chew the, excuse me, bite and chew the food materials. Bite and chew. So for this, they have an extraordinary development of those 2 muscles. Hope will be, can you recollect this? Masseter and temporalis. Extraordinary development of these 2 muscles, masseter and temporalis. Guys, are you comfortable with the teeth and dentition of Australopithecus? The teeth and dentition, right, it shows a mixture of both human-like and ape-like. Ape-like means we also say simian characters. If you say simian, you say simian, it means ape-like. Ape-like primitive characters. Okay, fine. So now let us move on to the post-cephalic features of Australopithecus, in which we will focus on the Australopithecus locomotion. Postcranial features. This pandemic is creating too much of anxiety for us. Every single symptom, right? We need to say whether we need to check whether this is COVID or not. This is COVID or not. The last 1 month or so, 4 times I was forced to take RT-PCR sample. Bad luck, everything it became negative. At least had it become positive, I may we might have at least survived or not. It's a different thing. Or at least we might have got some immunity. In epidemiological anthropology, Kavita ma'am will discuss about these pandemics, about Black Death, about the Surat Plague, etc. Even Charminar is there in Hyderabad, right? Charminar. That was constructed mainly to commemorate the successful elimination of one plague which ravaged that city, Charminar in Hyderabad city. When our Muhammad bin Tughlaq, there is some similarity between the great ruler Muhammad bin Tughlaq and our Narendra Modi ji. Muhammad bin Tughlaq also did demonetization. And towards the end of his career, Muhammad bin Tughlaq he found that as he couldn't administer the entire country from Delhi, he shifted his capital to Daulatabad. And from Daulatabad, he realized that he couldn't have a control over Delhi. And towards his last years as a ruler, when he moved back to Delhi, there was a plague in Delhi. He couldn't stay there in Delhi. He moved to Awadh, where he lived and where he died there in Awadh. Even our Narendra Modi ji is the last few years of Prime Minister, right? Our country is battling with the pandemic. Okay. So we are going to discuss about the post-cranial features of Australopithecus. See, by all probability, Australopithecus were bipedal. Bipedal. The savanna-like environment in which they lived, it forced them to walk on earth. I will show you. Okay, no need to show. I hope you might have googled and see how a savanna vegetation will look like. Here and there, right, a group of scattered trees and a lot of grasses. So in this environment, there is a need for Australopithecus to have a look whether any carnivore is approaching him, and there is a need for him to move fast. So the savanna-like environment in which he lived, right, forced him to walk on earth. Along with this, there are number of anatomical evidence to suggest that Australopithecus had a bipedal locomotion. The first important anatomical evidence is you should be knowing this, right? Okay, the more centrally placed foramen magnum. So this foramen magnum, right, is there for both men as well as women. Okay, foramen magnum. I told you the significance of the position of foramen magnum. When our ancestors had quadrupedal locomotion, the foramen magnum used to be more posterior and it descended down Foramen magnum used to be more posterior for animals with a quadrupedal locomotion. And in the course of evolution, this foramen magnum slowly descended down and it is more centrally placed for human beings. Even for Australopithecus, the foramen magnum is more centrally placed. This is one very important evidence to show that Australopithecus had a bipedal locomotion and an erect posture. Then the next thing is about the vertebral column or our backbone. When the apes had quadrupedal locomotion, foramen magnum used to be here and vertebral column used to have only a single arch. Single arched vertebral column. So when the same organism got erect posture, and if the vertebral column, if it continues to remain a single arch like this, now this bone need to wear most of our body's weight. So as a result, the bone will become weak and it may break somewhere here. As a result, in the course of evolution, when we got an erect posture, when the foramen magnum declined from here to here, even the vertebral column, right, it became multiple arched. We have developed a number of curves so that this portion, and even this portion will be in a position to bear our body weight. So our body weight will be balanced at many places in our backbone. Got it? So this multiple arched vertebral column, right, is called as anticlinal vertebra. Anticlinal vertebra. Okay, presence of the multiple arches. So what is this anticline? In geography, you might have read about fold mountains. Himalayas is a fold mountain in which the upstanding portion is called as an anticline and the low-lying one is called as an syncline. As the curve is like anticline and syncline, this vertebral column of human beings having multiple curve, right, this has been named as anticlinal vertebra. Anticlinal vertebra. But in the case of Australopithecus, see, because there is no perfect, before that I will show you one diagram, one picture. See how nice it is curved. Okay. This lowermost portion, right? This is lumbar region. These plates are named as L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, etc. Lumbar region. So for Australopithecus, though there is no perfect curvature like this, still there is a curve at least in the lumbar region of the bone. At the lowermost portion, right, there is a curve. So the backbone of Australopithecus is not perfect like that of a human being, but though there is no multiple curvature, there is a small curve in the lumbar region at least. Lumbar region. So that is a weight bearing modification in the backbone. Next is pelvis. This particular region. This is the pelvic girdle. The number of bones again here, pelvic girdle. So the pelvis of human beings, right, is a bowl shape. It is like a bowl. But for the animals with quadrupedal locomotion, it used to be plate-like. Plate-like. So that plate-like pelvis, right, will be over the stomach, and the duty of the pelvis is to bear the organs, to support the organs in our stomach. So once when you get erect posture, and if the pelvis remains like a plate, right, it will be of no use. So as a result, the plate-like pelvis became bowl-shaped. Even for Australopithecus, the pelvis bone is bowl-shaped. Pelvis bone is bowl-shaped. Okay. The next aspect. Torsion angle of the femur bone. See, femur bone is the largest bone of our body. This bone. The bone found in our thigh region. Okay. See, look at the way in which this bone is attached to the pelvis. It is not straight. Can you see there is an angle at which the bone is attached? This is again a weight bearing modification. So, if the bone is straight right instead of having an angle, if the bone is attached straight like this, then the entire body weight will fall on the knees. It will put a strain on our knee. As there is a curve, right, this bone itself balances part of our body weight, and the entire body weight will not straight away fall on our knees. Even this torsion angle, the presence of this torsion angle, right, even this is a weight bearing modification, and this weight bearing modification is found there in Australopithecus, that is torsion angle of the femur bone. Torsion angle of the femur bone is present. Next, one important thing, good, we got an erect posture and also a bipedal locomotion. So when we had quadrupedal locomotion, when we had a quadrupedal locomotion, all the four limbs we used it for locomotion, for walking, and our body weight will be balanced by all the four limbs. Now, forearms become free and the burden for the hind limbs got doubled now. The entire body weight, right, need to be balanced by the hind limbs alone. At the same time, right, we need to have a stability so that we can walk. So there was an extraordinary development of muscles in the abdominal region, including the thigh region. These new muscles, right, need to have some attachment surface. So the original attachment areas were not sufficient to hold all the muscles. So for this, one particular feature developed in the backside of the femur bone. We call it as Linea aspera. Linea aspera. This linea aspera, right, this refers to a groove in the backside of the femur bone, femur or femoris, okay, the femur bone. This provided attachment areas for the muscle in the thigh region. So the presence of linea aspera signifies a bipedal locomotion and an erect posture. Okay, so the linea aspera is present only in human beings because we have a bipedal locomotion with an erect posture. This linea aspera is also present in Australopithecus. See here, this is a femur bone. In this bone, can you see this groove? It starts here and it runs in the middle and again it extends. This groove right in the backside of the femur bone, which provides the attachment area for the muscles, right, is called as linea aspera. Make it sure the presence of linea aspera is an indication of bipedal locomotion. After that, we everywhere, in backbone there is a curve. In the femur bone there is a curve. Everywhere if there is a curve, we need to have stability, right? So that's why our knees are straight. See here in this picture. The femur bone is attached like this. The femur bone attached like this, no doubt. But see, the knees are straight. The knees are straight. And after that, the entire body weight will come and fall in this region, right? So how important is this region? This is a small piece of bone here. And how long this bone can bear this 100 kg body weight? Okay, for girls, right, 50 kg body weight. How long it can bear? So there are number of weight bearing modifications in the ankle as well as in the feet. First of all, the entire weight load, right, is made to pass in such a way. So within our feet, the weight load is not allowed to fall on a single place, but it is made to radiate into the feet. It will not straight away come and fall here. Instead, the weight load, right, will fall and it will get radiated like this. There is no need to write all these things in your answers because you won't have time and space to write. It is just for your understanding. Further, there are number of modifications in the ankle and also in the feet bone. For example, what happens in the feet bone? There is an arching off from the ankle. There is an arching of the feet bones. Again, this is an weight bearing modification. This is an weight bearing modification. So if this arching is not proper, then we may get flat feet. In both the legs, flat foot. Flat foot, right? If you have flat foot, it means anatomically, right, you do not have that means you do not have a perfect anatomy for walking and running. But even now you can see few people will have a flat foot. Flat foot, right, this is a disqualification for uniform services like IPS, IRS, Customs and Excise, etc. So immediately after your personality test, even personality test is not that tough. The next day, right, in the name of medical examination from morning 9 o'clock till evening 5 o'clock, they will torture you with a number of tests. In that, there is one test for flat feet. So what they will do in one room, right? One doctor will be waiting, and in one corner, in a huge tray, they might have kept some water. They will ask you to step into that water, and they will ask you to step down on the floor. And once when you step down, right, the wet impression on the floor should be like this. Instead, if it is like this, it means it is a flat foot. You are not fit for running, jumping, okay, and doing all the activities associated with the adrenaline rush. So that's a disqualification. Okay, even color blindness, right, is a disqualification for this uniform services. Again, there is a check for that. Hope you all will experience that soon. So these are the anatomical evidences to show that Australopithecus had a bipedal locomotion. Shall we revise it one time, that the anatomical evidences to show that we are having a bipedal locomotion. Number one, more centrally placed foramen magnum. Presence of curve in the lumbar region of the backbone. Bowl-shaped pelvis. Then presence of torsion angle in femur bone. Linea aspera in the backbone. Straight knees. And the number of weight-bearing modifications in the ankle and in the feet. This all suggests that Australopithecus had a bipedal locomotion. Yes, perfect. But this bipedal locomotion, right, is not a perfect locomotion like the one which we are having. It is just evolving, right? So the bipedal locomotion of Australopithecus is more like, we call it as a jog trot like jog trot like walk. Jog trot like walk. We go for jogging. Understand, jogging, we jog continuously. Once when if lockdown is not there, every morning 6 o'clock, right, I need to be ready. I need to go out for jogging. Not because I love to do that. Morning 5:30, my wife will wake up and she will get ready. Until 6:10, 6:15, she will wait for me. If I am not ready, she will go alone for walk and she will come back. And once when she comes back, maybe by 6:30 or by 7:30 or 8 o'clock, from that time till she gets ready for office, the way in which she will shout at me, oh my God, if I think about that, right, before she gets ready, I'll be ready. But that's always good to keep ourselves fit. Early morning, walk or jog. On this particular preparation, right, this will, for this IAS examination, will generally create lot of stress, anxiety, and along with this, right, this will also reduce our physical activity from morning till evening. We'll keep reading for days together, months together, hopefully not for years together. Okay. Jog trot like walk. Jog trot. So, though Australopithecus had a bipedal locomotion, the bipedal locomotion is not perfect like the one we have in human beings. This was largely due to a few reasons. For example, there are two muscles in our abdominal region here in our back, which actually stabilizes our pelvis when we are walking. We are able to have a stable walk largely because of these two important muscles. Gluteus medius and gluteus minimus. So these are the two muscles which stabilize our pelvis when we are walking. These two muscles are totally absent for Australopithecus. These two muscles are totally absent. I'll show you these muscles. This is a gluteus maximus or gluteus medius. Gluteus maximus, this muscle is gluteus maximus. And this is gluteus minimus. Gluteus minimus. Gluteus medius, gluteus minimus. These two muscles, right, stabilize our pelvis when we are walking. These two muscles are totally absent for Australopithecus. As a result, right, one more thing also is there. There is one particular bone called as ischium or ischial tuberosity. This bone, right, this is pelvis bone. The one in green color, this is called as ischium bone or ischial tuberosity. This bone, right, is very short for us, but this bone, right, for quadrupedal animals, it used to be very lengthy like this. It used to be very lengthy. And even for Australopithecus, these bones are very lengthy. So as a result, they altogether had a different type of locomotion. See, there are two ways by which the locomotion of Australopithecus is different from that of human locomotion. That is because of number one, the absence of gluteus maximus and gluteus minimus or gluteus medius. The two muscles found in our abdominal region which stabilizes our pelvis during walk. These two muscles are absent. And the ischial tuberosity or the ischium bone, right, is very large like the one found in quadrupedal animals. As a result, right, the Australopithecus, they cannot walk cool and comfortable like this. They can walk only with a bent hip and a bent knee. Both the knees will be bent and the hip will be bent. With that, right, they cannot walk continuously. They can only make quick, short steps. Tuck, 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 some 10 steps. Then stand. Then fast, 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 fast. 5 steps, stand. So this is how they used to walk. You try to walk in your home, keeping your hip and knees bent like this. See how tough it will be to walk. And this type of locomotion is physiologically inefficient as Australopithecus need to spend a lot of energy for walking. It needs lot of energy output for this type of walking. Okay. So guys, are you comfortable with the anatomical characteristics of Australopithecus? Please read it 2 times, 3 times. Okay. Also, you can watch the video a few times. You can watch it again and again. This is one of the toughest portions in anthropology. I'll tell you, nobody will even discuss 50% of what we are doing. But still, I do not want to take any chances. So, a very complex subject, right? I try to make it a bit simple for you. And if you are in a position to understand what we have discussed until now, well and good. There is no need to worry about the science part in anthropology. You can just go ahead with this subject. That's what makes it easy. That's why every year, right, at least 2 or 3 in top 10 might have opted anthropology as an optional. So now we are left with one more topic, that is the phylogenetic position of Australopithecus. See, there are number of characters found in Australopithecus. One second. Okay. So there are number of characters in the Australopithecus which are truly human. Most importantly, the parabola-shaped dental arcade, absence of diastema, very small canines. Then the cranial capacity, a large cranium when compared to the contemporary apes. Along with that, right, the bipedal locomotion. This all suggests that Australopithecus is in the line of human evolution. But again, there are variations. We have gracile, we have robust. What actually happened to them? What was the fate and outcome? That's what we are going to discuss. So first, there is one, not two branch theory for the evolution of Australopithecus. This was given by Johnson and Timothy White. Donald C. Johnson and Timothy White. According to them, right, Australopithecus afarensis. This lived some roughly around 3 million years ago. This got divided into two lines. One became Homo habilis. The Homo habilis further got evolved into Homo erectus. Oh. into Homo erectus. And the Homo erectus, right, further got evolved into Homo sapiens. That is this line. Okay. On the other side, you can just take it down. You can note it down in the space which I have given you. On other side, right, the afferents is split into Australopithecus africanus. From 3.5 million years, right, it continued to live up to 2 million years ago. Afferences further got evolved into Australopithecus robustus. It lived roughly between 2.3 to 1.6 million years ago. This further got evolved into Australopithecus boisei, which lived between 1.8 to 1 million years ago. Okay, so this is the two-branch theory given by Donald C. Johnson and Timothy White. That is, the Australopithecus afferences got split into two. One line got evolved into Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and then Homo sapiens, while the other line, right, got evolved into Africanus, robustus, and boisei. I'll give you 2 minutes time. Try to note it down. Okay. You can note this down. You can also pause the video. You can also pause the video and you can write it down. Okay. This was the two-branch theory given by Donald C. Johnson, Timothy White. According to them, this boisei, right, it couldn't adapt to the environment, and that marks the end of the robust species. It became extinct. With that, right, the line stops. But it is the other side, right, which got evolved into Homo sapiens. Everything was fine until 1985. In the year 1985, Alan Walker discovered one fossil from the northern part of Kenya. He named it as Australopithecus Ethiopicus. This was again a robust form of Australopithecus, and this fossil is 2.5 million years old. So where we can keep this fossil? This fossil, right? There was some problem in keeping it or accommodating this fossil in this table, because this was having a number of features which are more progressive than robust. Which are more progressive than this. They're more progressive. So this Ethiopicus is certainly a progressive Australopithecus when compared to that of robustus. As the age suggests, right, we cannot keep it here because it is 2.5 million years old, right? We cannot keep it here in this table, because if we keep it here, it means this fossil is primitive to that of Africanus, A-F-R-I-C-A-N, Africanus, N-U-S, Africanus. But it is progressive than robustus. How we can keep it? This created a confusion, and people expressed a doubt over the two-branch theory given by Donald C. Johnson and Timothy White. Alan Walker, right, to accommodate this Ethiopicus fossil, he gave one conclusion that this Australopithecus boisei, right, this didn't evolve in the last leg of Australopithecus in evolution, but it evolved independently from afferences through Ethiopics. I will explain you through one table again. See, now you can take down this table. Three branch theory given by Alan Walker. According to him, right, Australopithecus afferences, this got divided into three lines. One it is Australopithecus africanus, which got evolved into Australopithecus robustus. And the newly discovered fossil Australopithecus Ethiopicus, which got evolved into Boise and our Homo line. Are you comfortable with this now? So this is the three branch theory given by Alan Walker. This is a three branch theory given by Alan Walker. But anthropologists say that human evolution is not so simple like this. We have only very limited availability of fossils. Along with Australopithecus, right, there might have been number of similar species which might have lived together, at least some 5 or 10, and there might have been lot of crossbreeding among them, and one such line, right, might have gave birth to human beings. Human beings. And the latest view says that with the discovery of Australopithecus ramidus, which is the oldest one, the latest table reads like this: Australopithecus ramidus, which got evolved into afferences, and then this thing. This is the latest table. So the three branch theory given by Alan Walker, no need to include ramidus, but while giving a conclusion, we can write one more table saying that adding the ramidus, suggesting that this is the latest schema of phylogenetic status of Australopithecus. Got it? So guys, how did you feel about this Australopithecus? This is really something very complex, and people from biology or medical sciences background, right? So they will be in a position to understand this thing very easy. But what about students from commerce background or history or literature background? Please drop some message about this to me, saying that how easy is this? Is it easy for you to understand this, etc., etc. Okay. So what I meant to say is, go to your home. So you'll be in a home only, obviously. So read these not just one time. And one more thing, every single, see, we are not here watching a movie, and we are not making a Salman Khan or Shah Rukh Khan movie where we can keep you entertained for all the 2.5 hours. Okay. So there will be some portion which will be tough. You are here for the toughest out of examination, and there are number of pros and cons. See, here there lies a very big advantage. One time, right, you may find it a bit difficult, but once when you understand these things, after that there is nothing to update here, there is nothing to upgrade here. So whatever you have read here, right, that alone is sufficient. That alone is sufficient. Okay, and one more very important thing which I like to tell you, be it your optional subject or be it general studies, there will be few topics which will be really tough. If you find some topic which is really tough, that provides you some opportunity. These are the key areas in your preparation. So identify the tough areas, try to spend some time with that. That means dedicate more time for these topics so that once when you become thorough in this, and if at all there is a question from the tough areas, be it your general studies or be it from your optional subject. If you are in a position to answer this, you are sending one strong signal to the evaluator that, see, you are able to answer the toughest thing and you are not leaving it in choice. That shows how hard your preparation is. And generally, these type of answers, right, will make you score extraordinary marks. Extraordinary marks. So keep this in mind. So my kind and sincere advice is try to go through see this video again and again as many time it is available, and try to go through the material and read it. And once you feel that yes, there is nothing much big in this, I can do this, then anthropology is nothing. There is no other topic in anthropology which is tougher than this. So with this, right, so let me take a break today.